What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch. Today we're going to be doing another episode of Watch Wars, and we have two watches. So on the left we have the OG Square G-Shock, and then on the right we have the Chinese homage of this watch. So if you've never seen Watch Wars before, we basically have 10 categories, 10 points per category. Winner is the one with the best score at the end. That's just annoying. So anyway, let's jump in and see which one of these watches is the best. I think you may know the answer, but let's just see how close it is. So the first category is design, and you can see the Casio wins with a strong 7. And obviously the reason why it wins is because, well, it's the original, and this is, well, a homage. I also, definitely prefer, actually, I prefer parts of this in ways, but obviously you can't beat the original. I quite like that this one is a little bit more stealthy. I know you can get stealthier G-Shocks as well, but this standard, the original Square, it's got a little bit of contrast on it, whereas this one, like I said, is a little bit more stealthy. So I do quite like this, but obviously this scores better because, this is the original. And this one just, well, mimics the original's design. One thing I do like a little bit better on the SKMEI though is the buttons. You can see that they actually come out a little bit more, whereas the G-Shocks are a little bit more recessed in. This just makes this a little bit easier to use actually than this one. So yeah, this one is a little bit, like I said, easier to use, whereas this one, it's still easier, but that one is just even easier. So let's move on to the next category, which is build and finish. And you can see it's another win for the G-Shock. And obviously, this is a much better watch. It's made by Casio. It's obviously a much more premium product, which I'll talk more about price later on. But just having two in hand, this case feels much nicer. It feels much more robust and much more solid. The buttons, although they're a little bit harder to press, feel better. These ones are a little bit soft and a bit squidgy. The soft touch finish though on both is really nice actually. This is quite surprising, but this one just feels that much more premium. The build quality of the rest of the case as well feels more solid, but then again, G-Shocks are really solid. This one feels really, really light. Whereas the G-Shock, it's got a little bit more heft to it and a little bit more weight. This one definitely just feels too light, which is not a good thing. But the case finishing is not bad. It's not as good or as high quality as the G-Shock, but that's to be expected. This is a fraction of the cost of this one. So yeah, I'm impressed with both, but yeah, this one, it's not bad, considering it is a very, very affordable watch. Let's move on. And actually, we're moving on to the strap, and you can see the SKMEI takes its first win. I know, right? Shocker. Well, I've been wearing these watches, on both my wrists. So one on my left wrist, one on my right. And I have noticed that this is more comfortable, which I'll come to in a minute. So that's just spoiled that one for you. But anyway, the strap is better. Now, the straps are pretty much, identical in style. You can see there. I mean, they're both very, very similar straps. The only difference is this is like a sort of a lower grade finish, but it's actually softer, and it just feels a bit nicer. This feels a little bit, a little bit plasticky and a little bit hard, but it will be very, very durable, which is why they've done it. This is softer, it's more pliable. Obviously, it's not going to be as robust, which is what a G-Shock needs to be, but this one definitely has the better strap. Now, what I mean by better is it just feels nicer. This feels a little bit plasticky, but then again, like I said, it's more durable. This one just is like nice and soft. It's smooth, and it's just got a lot more flexibility to it. It's really strange. I was not expecting that the cheaper watch would actually have the better strap. Yes, like I said, I keep saying it, not as durable, but in terms of comfort, which is the next category, this SKMEI wins its second round. I was utterly shocked. I honestly was not expecting that at all. And again, it's just because of that strap. This one is it's a little bit hard, a little bit rigid, and it's got those really hard little ridges on the inside. This one does have those ridges, but they're a lot softer and they don't dig into your wrist as much. So yeah, this is a much more comfortable watch to wear. I honestly was not expecting it to win, but it did. You know, it's lighter, which, you know, makes it wear a little bit better. The size wise, you know, it's about the same, so they're the same size, but this one just wears better because of that strap. So yeah, really quite surprised there. Now we get on to the Illumination, and it is very close. So both of these watches have really good illumination. If you've seen my Casio F91W versus the SKMEI actually blew the Casio out of the water. This one is a little bit closer, and I'll pop a comparison up on screen now so you can see them both side by side. The G-Shock wins just because it's a little bit more legible in low light situations, because this one it gets like brighter, but the numbers are actually a little bit more difficult to read. So it's a little bit swings and roundabouts. Yes, it's slightly brighter, but it's harder to read. Whereas this one is really bright and also very legible as well. So that's why the G-Shock wins. So yeah, if you've not seen the Casio F91W one, that'll be on my channel if you want to check that out. But yeah, quite surprised actually at how close that was to that. Just a little bit less legible, but still pretty impressive. Moving on to the feature set, and well, 6.5 and 6. And the reason why this one scores as nearly as good is because of those buttons. It's just easier to press them. Both of them have exactly the same feature set. So both have a timer, a stopwatch, an alarm feature. So both have the same features. Obviously the Casio did it first and it does it better. The functions just work better. But this one scores high because it's just so easy to use. These buttons, like I said, you know, they're a little bit fiddly and a little bit awkward. These ones protrude a little bit more, so it just makes them a little bit easier to actually press and manipulate the actual functions. So yeah, definitely a big surprise there. Again, I was not expecting it to be so close. So let's move on to the next category. And as you can see, after the amendments, because I made a little mistake, and I will own up to that, the G-Shock wins with 7-5. And the reason why the G-Shock wins is because, well, this has 200 meters of water resistance, and I would probably actually trust that as well. This is 50 meters, so this one you could take swimming, no problem. This one, you'd be all right in shower, and I'd say that's about it. But this one, yeah, you could probably take it swimming, and probably even, you know, shallow snorkeling as well, it'd probably fine. This I would not trust in the sea at all. It'd probably break straight away. But this, you know, much better. So if you want, obviously, better water resistance, go for the Casio. 200 meters to 50, 7-5. Next up is brand, and it's just a walk away for the G-Shock, and obviously it's because Casio, you know, they've been around for a long time, they know what they're doing, they're one of the best brands when it comes to digital watches, probably the best brand for digital watches on the planet. SKMEI, you know, yeah, I mean, they're decent, you know, they make good quality watches for the price point. I mean, you can't really grumble too much there. I mean, they are very affordable, but obviously if you want proper, you just go Casio. But, you know, these do have their place as well, and I'll talk more about that in a little minute. So next up is price. Yes, I've messed up the ordering, but anyway, so the G-Shock scores 8 and this scores a 9.5. Now, the reason why this scores 8 is because, well, it's got a lot of features, it works well, it's robust, it's a Casio, and yeah, it's just durable. This is just ridiculously priced, which is why I scored it so high. So these you can pick up, you know, 50, 60 quid. These are around £10. £10. That is an absolute steal. I mean, you're getting pretty much all the same features as the G-Shock. Yes, it's not as water resistant. The name is a bit, you know, a bit terrible. But yeah, it's a good little watch for the money. So 10 quid. You do get quite a fair amount. And then availability. Let's just do that. The Casio wins because it's available in more places. You can buy these from like loads of watch shops, Amazon, Argos, I think, have them. You can get them all over eBay. These, you know, eBay, AliExpress, and I think possibly Amazon as well. But these are just available in way more places and way more stores than this one, which is why it scores higher. Now we get on to the final point, and it's a win for the G-Shock. I mean, you guys probably guessed that, but it's closer than what I thought. So it's 68 to 60. So yeah, did you expect that? Obviously the Casio was going to win, I mean, but it's a lot closer than I expected. If this watch was, say, 20 to 30 pound, I'd say it'd be very, very close, maybe even neck and neck, if they just got the build quality a little bit better, sorted that illumination out and give it better water resistance. I'd say it'd be very, very close, but as is, you know, it's close-ish. I mean, obviously, if you want proper, reliable, robust, go for the G-Shock. This would make a good little beta watch, say for gardening or doing chores and stuff like that. And say if you don't want to, you know, proper ruin your G-Shock, say if you've not got a massive budget for watches, and this one would be, say, your more premium watch, then grab something like this for doing, you know, your everyday tasks. You can see the screen is a little bit better on the G-Shock as well, which I forgot to mention. But anyway, great for just doing, you know, like DIY, stuff like that, if you don't want to damage, you know, the more expensive G-Shock. But obviously, if budget's no option, G-Shock all the way. If budget is a concern, this is still going to get the job done. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And of course, follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.